Gazing upon Diddy's current state, one might easily label his life as a tragic failure. Yet it would be unjust to deem him a total failure. He once achieved remarkable success in the entertainment world through sheer determination. To truly understand Diddy's journey, we must reflect on the significant milestones that marked his ascent to fame, as well as the shadows cast by his missteps. Let us embark on this exploration together. None of us have guessed that Diddy, a man who overcame hardships to achieve success, ended up living a life of crime that anyone would loathe. Let's take a look back at what he went through since his childhood days. Diddy was the child of two hardworking parents. His mother, Janice, was an educator dedicated to providing children with better futures, while his father, Melvin, served in the military, an esteemed job that, while respected, didn't provide a path to economic security. Though they both held decent positions, the family's financial situation reflected the limitations of their environment more than the dignity of their professions. The neighborhood of Harlem, rich in culture, yet often plagued by poverty, became the backdrop for Diddy's formative years, a place where his ambitions would later soar beyond its bounds, though he would not easily escape its struggles. For Diddy, the challenges of growing up in Harlem were not merely external. He has spoken candidly about the harsh realities he faced as a young boy. Though some families managed to carve out stable homes amidst the trials of urban poverty, Diddy was not so fortunate. His recollections reveal a childhood lived on the edge of survival, a daily life marked by exposure to harsh sights, sounds, and often smells. He recalls waking up in a tiny, cramped apartment where cockroaches could be seen crawling across surfaces, sometimes even onto his face as he slept. This reality was disturbing, but also emblematic of the poverty that gripped Harlem families. For the young Diddy, these moments weren't just unpleasant. They left a lasting mark, becoming part of his story and perhaps a wellspring of his motivation to rise above. The home in which he grew up often carried a heavy stench that pervaded the air, a reminder of the unrelenting struggle to keep a clean and decent household when resources were limited and infrastructure was neglected. For many young children, the family home serves as a place of comfort, security, and warmth. For Diddy, however, it could sometimes feel like a place of discomfort. As Diddy grew older, the veil surrounding his father's past began to lift. Though he initially accepted his mother's story that his father, Melvin, had died in a car accident, a darker truth lingered beneath. Diddy would come to learn that his father's death was not the result of an unfortunate accident, but of a violent end tied to a high-risk lifestyle. Melvin Combs was well known on the streets of Harlem, not for military heroics, but for his involvement in the drug trade. His reputation among other men in Harlem was one of power and status, albeit earned in a world of crime. Diddy's father had been far from a small-time player. He held considerable sway in his sphere, but as is often the case in that life, danger loomed large. The reality of Melvin's lifestyle caught up with him in the most tragic way possible. In 1972, when Sean was just 2 years old, his father was shot while sitting in his car, leaving him and his mother, Janice, alone. The trauma of that loss, compounded by the violent nature of his father's death, was something Janice could barely confront herself. To protect her son from the weight of that truth, she chose to tell him that his father had perished in a car accident. It was an attempt to shield him from the harsh reality that might cloud his future and to allow him a chance at a life unmarred by the violence that had taken his father. This revelation would come later, but the decision Janice made was one of many ways she fought to keep Diddy on a safer path. Realizing the perils that came with life in Harlem, Janice recognized the necessity of change. She made the decision to relocate herself and her young son to Mount Vernon, New York, a suburban city just outside the Bronx. This move was a significant shift, offering Diddy a life away from the immediate reach of Harlem's most perilous influences. However, the cost of this new environment was steep, and Janice had to take on several jobs to maintain their home and provide for her son's needs. She was determined to ensure he had every opportunity to rise beyond the hardships they had left behind, working tirelessly to secure his future in a world where economic security was often out of reach for single black mothers. Despite his mother's efforts, Diddy couldn't fully escape the draw of Harlem. The neighborhood remained close to his heart, as did the family members who still lived there. He would often visit, reconnecting with the place that held both memories and cautionary lessons. Harlem was not just a backdrop to his early life, it was part of his identity, a place of both love and loss. Those visits kept him tethered to Harlem's streets, its unique energy, and the community's resilience. It was also here, in Harlem, that he picked up a nickname that would later become a foundational part of his brand and persona. During these formative years, Diddy earned the nickname Puff. The name originated from a habit he had when frustrated. His cheeks would puff out as he struggled to control his anger, an innocent yet revealing trait. This nickname, given by friends and family, would become a signature part of his persona and ultimately evolve into the iconic name Puff Daddy. Even as he moved toward a life vastly different from the one his father had led, he remained deeply connected to Harlem's culture and spirit, and his nickname became a testament to those roots. Janice's decision to move to Mount Vernon was pivotal. It provided Diddy with a measure of distance from Harlem's dangers and allowed him to build a lifeless overshadowed by the threats that had claimed his father. Nevertheless, Harlem's pull was undeniable. The culture, experiences, and lessons he encountered there formed an essential part of his character. The gritty reality of his early life gave him a perspective that would later shape his artistry, brand, and relentless drive to succeed. Diddy has gone by many names over his career, each one marking a new chapter in his evolution. But the first name that would define him, Puff, came long before his days as a hip-hop mogul, back in his childhood. Known for having a fiery temper as a young boy, Diddy would often huff and puff when he was upset, his cheeks puffing out in frustration as he struggled to control his anger. This habit didn't go unnoticed by those close to him. They began to call him Puff. Though it began as a light-hearted nickname, Puff would later become an integral part of his identity in the music industry and evolve into Puff Daddy, the name under which he would achieve his first taste of stardom. Despite his challenging early life, marked by economic hardship and the tragic loss of his father, Diddy remained resilient. He graduated high school and, in the late 1980s, began studying business at Howard University, one of the most prestigious historically black universities in the U.S. Though his time at Howard was short, it was a crucial period for Diddy. Being at Howard exposed him to a network of ambitious, talented black students, each striving for success in their own fields. This environment honed his confidence and introduced him to people who would become important contacts later in his career. But Diddy found himself increasingly impatient with the academic path. His entrepreneurial spirit was ignited, and the classroom felt too limiting for someone with his ambitions. After only 2 years, he made the decision to drop out, determined to make his own way in the industry. In 1990, at just 20 years old, Diddy took his first step into the music world by landing an internship at Uptown Records in New York. Uptown was known for its distinctive hip-hop and R&B flavor, and Diddy, with his Harlem roots and fierce work ethic, quickly made an impression. Unlike many interns, who might have approached the role cautiously, Diddy threw himself into his work with full force. He was relentless, often working late into the night, refusing to settle for the background tasks typically assigned to interns. His hunger for success was evident, and his ability to connect with artists and understand their needs was undeniable. His drive and talent didn't go unnoticed by Uptown executives. Diddy had a natural ear for music and a knack for spotting potential, skills that became apparent when he began working with artists like Mary J. Blige and Jodeci. These artists would later credit Diddy as a visionary, who helped them find and define their unique sounds. Diddy quickly went from being an eager intern to a crucial player behind the scenes. His keen sense of what would resonate with audiences, combined with his boundless energy, set him apart from others at Uptown. Soon enough, he moved into producing, a role that allowed him to shape records and guide artists, transforming raw talent into polished, marketable music. One of his first major projects involved producing Mary J. Blige's debut album, What's the 411? Released in 1992, the album was groundbreaking, blending soul, R&B, and hip-hop in a way that had never been done before. The record was a massive success, selling millions of copies and establishing Blige as the queen of hip-hop soul. Diddy's hand in its production earned him credibility within the industry as a young, innovative producer who knew how to create a fresh sound that appealed to a wide audience. His instincts were proven right. He had not only helped craft a hit album, but had also set the stage for a new genre fusion that would define the sound of R&B and hip-hop throughout the 1990s. In the early 1990s, Diddy was making a name for himself at Uptown Records under the guidance of Andre Harrell, the label's influential founder. Their relationship was pivotal in Diddy's development, and it began with a strong sense of mentorship. Harrell, who was known for cultivating young talent, saw Diddy as a rare find, someone with both musical vision and a relentless work ethic. He took the young intern under his wing, teaching him the ins and outs of the music industry. Harrell recognized that Diddy wasn't just an intern, he had the potential to shape the sound and future of Uptown Records, and he brought Diddy closer to the label's core operations. But as Diddy absorbed Harrell's lessons, he also began developing his own bold vision for hip-hop and R&B. Driven by his fierce ambition and boundless confidence, he grew restless under the limitations of an intern's role and started to push the boundaries of his position. He wasn't satisfied with just taking direction. He wanted to have a direct hand in shaping the label's future. The young Diddy began championing his own ideas with a level of intensity that set him apart from others, but it also led to clashes with Harrell. Diddy believed he could take Uptown Records to new heights by merging edgy hip-hop sounds with smooth R&B, a combination he believed would appeal to both streetwise listeners and mainstream audiences. But his confidence and drive eventually began to strain his relationship with Harrell, who still saw himself as the primary visionary at Uptown. As Diddy grew more assertive, he began clashing with Harrell over creative decisions. Uptown Records was known for a polished R&B sound, while Diddy saw the future of music as grittier, more raw, and more unapologetically reflective of street culture. His increasingly vocal approach began to make waves, creating tension that ultimately culminated in his firing in 1993. For Harrell, letting Diddy go was a difficult but, in his mind, necessary decision. For Diddy, however, being fired wasn't the end, but rather the catalyst for his next chapter. He had learned a lot from Harrell, but he was determined to put his own stamp on the music industry, no longer confined by anyone else's vision. That same year, Diddy launched his own record label, Bad Boy Records, setting up an office in his own apartment. The vision he had cultivated at Uptown could now take shape in its purest form. Diddy wanted Bad Boy to be the ultimate fusion of hip-hop's energy with R&B's broad appeal, and he began recruiting artists who embodied this ideal. His first major signing was a relatively unknown Brooklyn rapper named Christopher Wallace, better known as the Notorious B.I.G. Diddy saw in Biggie the authenticity, lyrical talent, and star quality that could help establish Bad Boy Records as a powerhouse. Together, they quickly went to work, with Diddy providing both production guidance and a hands-on approach to marketing Biggie's image. Also this year, Diddy welcomed his first child, a son named Justin, with Misa Brim, his high school sweetheart. Misa had been a steady presence in his life long before the fame, and though their relationship didn't have the public intensity of some of his later romances, she was a crucial part of his early personal journey. Balancing the launch of his label and the responsibilities of being a father was no easy feat. And with his burgeoning career demanding relentless hours and travel, young Justin spent much of his time with Misa. Misa's support and commitment to raising their son played a key role during these challenging early years. While Diddy was creating a brand that would revolutionize hip-hop, Misa took on much of the responsibility of parenting, ensuring Justin had the stability and care he needed. However, Diddy's love life would take a turn in 1994, setting the stage for a new chapter that would profoundly shape his future. That was when he first crossed paths with Kim Porter, a woman whose influence on his life would extend well beyond romance. When Diddy met Kim Porter, she was already well established in the modeling world and had a magnetic presence that drew people to her. Their initial meeting was brief. She was with her ex-boyfriend at the time, and though they didn't connect immediately, Diddy was captivated by her confidence and natural charisma. There was something different about Kim, something that made her stand out, and as time went on, they found themselves drawn back together. By the end of 1994, they had officially begun dating, and their chemistry was undeniable. Kim had a grace and poise that complemented Diddy's fiery ambition, creating a powerful bond that would persist through numerous ups and downs. Their relationship blossomed amid the rapid growth of Bad Boy Records, and as Diddy's career soared, so did his and Kim's connection. In many ways, Kim grounded him, offering a safe space away from the pressures of fame and the music industry's chaotic demands. She was both his confidant and partner, someone who understood the highs and lows of his world and provided the stability he often lacked. As their relationship deepened, Diddy's public profile grew as well, and by the mid-90s he was a powerful force in hip-hop. With hits from artists like the Notorious B.I.G. and Faith Evans, Bad Boy Records was shaping the sound of a generation, and Diddy was at the center of it all. But the whirlwind success came with a cost. Despite his thriving romance with Kim, Diddy's life was far from settled. His days were consumed by the demands of managing a label, producing music, and expanding Bad Boy's reach. The pressures of his career often bled into his personal life, and he struggled to maintain balance. Yet, amidst the chaos, he and Kim found joy in each other. In 1998, the couple welcomed their first child together, a son named Christian. For Diddy, this was a momentous occasion. Becoming a father to Christian solidified his bond with Kim and represented a new chapter in his life. Their family life was one of joy, but it was also marked by a tension that lay beneath the surface. Diddy's lifestyle, his late nights, his high-stakes career, and the temptations that came with it often clashed with the stability he sought to build with Kim. While they were deeply in love, the pressures surrounding them created strains that would emerge in unexpected ways. The demands of his career were relentless, and as Bad Boy Records became a household name, the spotlight intensified. With every success came greater scrutiny, and Diddy's fame brought a level of public attention that impacted both him and Kim. Despite their affection for each other, Diddy's lifestyle often complicated their relationship. There were rumors of infidelity and rifts that forced them to reevaluate their relationship several times over the years. Kim, known for her resilience, navigated these challenges with a sense of grace and patience, but the repeated strains took a toll. Their on-and-off relationship became a fixture in the tabloids, yet, through every breakup and reunion, they seemed to find their way back to each other. The mid-90s marked an era of intense rivalry in hip-hop, particularly between the East Coast and West Coast scenes. As Bad Boy Records rose to prominence on the East Coast, its figureheads, Sean Puff Daddy Combs and the Notorious B.I.G., found themselves in the middle of this turbulent environment. On the other side, Death Row Records, led by Suge Knight, was rallying behind West Coast talent like Tupac Shakur. The rivalry, amplified by diss tracks, media coverage, and the artist's own escalating tensions, thrust Diddy and his label into the national spotlight, drawing attention to Bad Boy's meteoric rise, but also to the personal stakes involved in this feud. For Diddy, the East Coast-West Coast tension wasn't just a backdrop, it was a battleground that forced him to protect both his career and the artists who trusted him. When Tupac released his infamous diss track, Hit 'Em Up, which targeted both Biggie and Diddy, it upped the ante in the conflict. This wasn't just a matter of artistic competition. There were real lives, reputations, and careers at stake. While this rivalry spurred a wave of interest and album sales, it also added an element of danger to the industry that hadn't been felt before. In this atmosphere of tension and antagonism, Diddy was both promoting his brand and navigating an increasingly treacherous landscape. Then, in 1997, Diddy decided to step out from behind the scenes and join the rap scene himself. He released his debut rap album, No Way Out, which reflected his ambition to become a more visible figure in the music world. This decision coincided with his sense that he could bring something unique to the genre and establish himself not just as a producer, but as a performer in his own right. The album featured hits like Can't Nobody Hold Me Down and It's All About the Benjamins, showcasing Diddy's confidence in his musical versatility. No Way Out became an instant success, selling millions of copies and propelling him to the forefront of hip-hop. But while No Way Out and its chart-topping singles made Diddy a household name, they were overshadowed by a tragedy that would forever mark his career and personal life. In March of 1997, just 6 months after Tupac's fatal shooting, the notorious B.I.G., Diddy's friend and Bad Boy's leading artist, was killed in a drive-by shooting in Los Angeles. The tragedy was not only a devastating loss for Diddy on a personal level, but a pivotal moment for the industry and for hip-hop culture at large. Biggie's death symbolized the culmination of the East Coast-West Coast rivalry, and the pain Diddy experienced was profound. It was as if his entire world had crumbled, and he was left reeling from the loss of his friend, collaborator, and muse. In the wake of Biggie's death, Diddy channeled his grief into music. He released I'll Be Missing You, a tribute to Biggie featuring Faith Evans and 112. The song became a worldwide hit, resonating with audiences who mourned Biggie's loss alongside Diddy. I'll Be Missing You topped the charts and became one of the most iconic tribute songs in hip-hop history. Its success provided a sense of solace, and for Diddy, it was a way to honor Biggie's memory while grappling with his grief. However, the song's mainstream appeal also brought criticism from certain segments of the hip-hop community. Some fans and critics accused Diddy of capitalizing on Biggie's death, claiming that he had commercialized the genre to an excessive degree. Now, let's talk about Jennifer Lopez and Diddy's toxic relationship. They grew up in New York City, a city with its own magnetic energy and allure. While Lopez hailed from the Bronx and was working her way up as a dancer, singer, and budding actress, Diddy had already made his mark as one of hip-hop's most successful producers. When their worlds collided, sparks flew. They first met in 1997 while Lopez was performing in Diddy's music video for Been Around the World. For Diddy, it was love at first sight. The chemistry between them was undeniable, and they soon became inseparable. However, a closer look reveals a relationship filled with drama, jealousy, and legal trouble that would ultimately lead to a turbulent and highly publicized breakup. In 1997, when Diddy met Lopez, he was in a relationship with Kim Porter, the mother of his son, Christian. But that didn't stop him from pursuing Lopez. Diddy and Porter eventually broke up in 1999, but rumors about his involvement with Lopez had been circulating for quite some time before that. The timeline suggests that his interest in Lopez overlapped with his relationship with Porter, creating a complex and messy situation for all parties involved. By the time Diddy and Lopez went public, they became one of Hollywood's hottest couples, constantly in the limelight and labeled an it couple. Their glamorous lifestyle and high-profile relationships were covered by every major media outlet, but the fairy tale image was far from the reality behind closed doors. Lopez, who was at the start of her ascent to stardom, was mesmerized by Diddy's charisma and success in the music industry. However, as she would later describe it, their relationship was a crazy, heightened time. Despite their chemistry and her attraction to his bad boy persona, Lopez struggled to trust Diddy. Rumors of infidelity constantly plagued their relationship, leaving Lopez in a cycle of suspicion and doubt. Reportedly, she was often left guessing about his whereabouts, his loyalty, and his commitment. Diddy's larger-than-life personality and lifestyle didn't help matters. His actions frequently seemed to confirm her suspicions, adding fuel to an already volatile relationship. The strain of their relationship reached a boiling point in December 1999 when a night out turned into one of the most infamous incidents in Diddy and Lopez's relationship. They had gone out to Club New York in Manhattan, and initially, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. But as the night went on, tensions flared, and Diddy found himself in a heated argument with another patron. The confrontation escalated, and in a shocking turn of events, a member of Diddy's entourage opened fire in the club, injuring 3 people. In the chaos that ensued, Diddy and Lopez attempted to flee the scene, but their efforts were short-lived. The police quickly pulled over their vehicle and, upon discovering a gun in the car, arrested both Diddy and Lopez on charges related to the shooting incident. The arrest was a significant moment in both their careers and personal lives. Although they were both released and later cleared of any charges, the incident left an indelible mark on their relationship. The media frenzy around their arrest was relentless, with paparazzi and journalists following their every move. The scrutiny placed tremendous pressure on Lopez, who was concerned about her budding career and reputation. She had worked tirelessly to make a name for herself, and this scandal threatened to overshadow all of her achievements. As the trial progressed, it became clear that Diddy's bad boy persona, while alluring, came with consequences. His high-profile lifestyle, surrounded by fame, money, and constant media attention, wasn't easy to sustain, and it took a toll on Lopez. The courtroom drama and constant media coverage highlighted the strain on their relationship, and Lopez started to question if she could continue dealing with the instability that came with being in Diddy's orbit. She was dedicated to building a successful career and couldn't afford to be dragged down by the baggage of an unstable and drama-filled relationship. By 2001, after enduring countless rumors, infidelity accusations, and the emotional toll of the nightclub shooting incident, Lopez decided she'd had enough. The bad boy allure that had initially attracted her to Diddy had become a source of distress. While their connection was undeniable, Lopez couldn't reconcile her dreams and goals with the chaos and unpredictability of Diddy's lifestyle. Her focus was now on her music, her acting career, and establishing herself as a multifaceted entertainer. Lopez knew that to move forward, she had to end her relationship with Diddy, and she made the difficult decision to break up with him. Diddy's 1999 altercation with music manager Steve Stout marked yet another scandal in a year that had no shortage of headline-grabbing incidents for the bad boy producer. Though he had gained a reputation for high-profile relationships and sometimes erratic behavior, his reason for the fight with Stout surprised many, especially given Diddy's own inclination toward provocative and flashy content. Yet this time, the situation touched on something more personal for him: his faith. What initially began as a creative collaboration between Diddy and rapper Nas escalated into a public display of Diddy's notorious temper, one that would ultimately lead to legal consequences and more negative attention on his already controversial persona. The drama stemmed from the video shoot for Nas's song "Hate Me Now." The video, a bold and contentious project, depicted both Nas and Diddy in crucifixion scenes. Nas, a rapper known for challenging conventions, had initially come up with the imagery as a metaphor for the intense criticism and scrutiny he faced in the music industry. Diddy agreed to the concept, hoping to make a strong visual statement. but as filming progressed and the scenes of crucifixion took shape, Diddy began to reconsider his involvement. While he was known for pushing boundaries in hip-hop and aligning himself with the bad boy persona, the symbolism in the crucifixion scene left him uneasy. He felt it disrespected his Christian faith and conflicted with his own values. After filming, Diddy specifically requested that the crucifixion scenes showing him be cut from the final video, not wanting to be associated with imagery he saw as blasphemous. He communicated this to the project manager, Steve Stout, who was then a prominent figure at Interscope Records and instrumental in the project's execution. Diddy believed he had made himself clear and assumed that Stout would respect his wishes. But when the video aired in its original unedited form, including the crucifixion scenes with Diddy, he was furious. This oversight, whether accidental or intentional, felt like a violation to Diddy, not just of his artistic preferences, but of his beliefs. In a fit of rage, Diddy stormed into Stout's office at Interscope Records. What ensued was nothing short of chaotic. Fueled by a combination of anger and a sense of betrayal, Diddy confronted Stout directly, demanding an explanation. However, the confrontation quickly turned physical, with Diddy allegedly striking Stout and launching a heated, violent outburst that left the music manager injured. The incident left staff members and onlookers in shock as they watched one of the industry's most influential figures lose control in a very public and dramatic manner. Diddy's assault on Stout wasn't just a case of a creative disagreement gone wrong. It exposed a raw, deeply personal side of him that few had seen before. The fallout was swift. Stout pressed charges against Diddy for the assault, and the media quickly picked up on the story, adding yet another layer to Diddy's already tumultuous year. The altercation was a clear departure from Diddy's usual antics, which generally revolved around his flashy lifestyle and high-profile relationships. This incident suggested a side of Diddy willing to act aggressively when he felt his values were compromised. While some fans were surprised by the religious sensitivity at the heart of the dispute, others saw it as an excuse for a violent reaction, especially given Diddy's track record of conflicts and controversies. In the early 2000s, Diddy found himself at a transitional point, facing consequences that this time seemed relatively minor compared to his past legal troubles. Authorities stopped him for driving without a license, a lapse in judgment that resulted in a citation and fines rather than a major scandal. It marked a shift for Diddy, who appeared ready to focus on building his music empire and reshaping his image. He was a global icon with successful ventures under his belt, and his brand was synonymous with hip-hop royalty. Yet while he worked to rebuild his reputation in some areas, his personal life remained complicated. The simplicity of Diddy's driving charge contrasted starkly with the turmoil of his love life. By 2003, he had been through a series of high-profile relationships, including a brief romance with supermodel Naomi Campbell. However, it was Kim Porter, his longtime love and the mother of his son, Christian, who continued to hold a significant place in his life. Diddy had always been drawn back to Porter, and their relationship had a deep-rooted history despite its many ups and downs. According to Diddy, his love for Porter had never faded, even during periods when he was dating other women. Porter's unwavering presence in his life seemed to offer him a unique comfort, something familiar and grounded in the world of ever-shifting relationships. In 2003, Diddy and Porter rekindled their romance, creating hope for a fresh chapter between them. Their relationship, which many viewed as a hood love story, was marked by intense passion and shared history, but also by repeated betrayals. As they rekindled their relationship, it appeared that Diddy was ready to settle down and focus on his family with Porter. The couple's relationship continued to evolve, and by 2006, Porter was pregnant with twins, a milestone that should have brought them closer. For a brief moment, it seemed they were about to embark on a new chapter, raising their children together and putting the past behind them. However, just as they were preparing to welcome their twin daughters, the shadow of Diddy's past actions came back to haunt them. Porter received distressing news that disrupted the fragile stability they had built. In another state, a woman named Sarah Chapman had recently given birth to a baby girl, and rumors swirled that Diddy was the father. The possibility of a child from an affair during Porter's pregnancy was a devastating blow, one that called their entire relationship into question. Porter had already faced public infidelities and the pain of Diddy's romantic entanglements with other high-profile women, but this betrayal struck an even deeper chord, given that it happened during her pregnancy. The situation was far from simple. Diddy, in an attempt to manage the fallout, asked Chapman to take a paternity test to confirm whether he was the father. When the results confirmed that the baby was indeed his daughter, Diddy committed to being in the child's life and supporting her, acknowledging her as his third biological child. While this decision may have shown some accountability, it was little consolation to Porter, who had stood by him time and time again. The betrayal, coupled with the public scrutiny that followed, was too much to bear. Despite the fact that she went through with the pregnancy and gave birth to their twin girls, Porter decided she could no longer be in a relationship with Diddy. The trust between them had been irreparably damaged, and Porter made the difficult decision to end their relationship for good. In another complicated relationship, the partnership between Diddy and the notorious B.I.G. became one of the defining definitions in hip-hop history. As label head of Bad Boy Records, Diddy took Biggie under his wing, propelling him into stardom. However, the East Coast-West Coast rivalry that flared up in the 1990s complicated their journey. This notorious feud, fueled by clashes between Bad Boy and Death Row Records, created tension that went far beyond mere musical competition. The rivalry culminated in the tragic deaths of both Biggie and his West Coast rival, Tupac Shakur, leading to speculation, rumors, and allegations surrounding Diddy's involvement in the events leading up to their deaths. In the aftermath of Tupac and Biggie's murders, a storm of accusations, theories, and conspiracies ensued. Tupac was killed in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas in September 1996, and only 6 months later, in March 1997, Biggie met a similar fate in Los Angeles. With both iconic figures gone, questions about possible motives, perpetrators, and indirect involvement emerged. Among the accusations leveled were claims suggesting that Diddy had used his influence and connections to orchestrate a hit on Tupac. The rumor mill spun tales implicating Diddy in Tupac's murder, insinuating that the hip-hop mogul had ordered the hit to protect Bad Boy Records and retaliate against Death Row Records. While these claims were never substantiated, they nonetheless became a permanent part of the narrative surrounding both Diddy's career and the East Coast-West Coast conflict. For Diddy, the accusations struck a nerve, particularly in interviews where he sought to defend his reputation. In a highly publicized exchange with journalist Kevin Powell, he expressed anger and grief over Biggie's death and vehemently denied any involvement in Tupac's murder. When interviewed by Powell and others, Diddy often emphasized his own sense of loss over Biggie's death, underscoring the bond he shared with his friend and artist. Still, some who observed the interview remarked on Diddy's intensity, interpreting his anger as evidence of either genuine mourning or an attempt to deflect deeper suspicions. Whether Diddy's emotion stemmed purely from the loss of a close friend or from frustration over the persistent rumors, it cast a shadow over his image, raising further questions about the extent of his involvement. Things took a more peculiar turn following an interview with journalist Chuck Phillips. After the interview, Diddy's team allegedly attempted to acquire the recording, seemingly desperate to keep it out of the public eye. When Phillips refused to hand it over, Diddy's associates allegedly followed him to his car and pressured him to relinquish the tape, even attempting to forcefully take it. In response, Phillips filed a lawsuit against Diddy and his team, citing harassment and intimidation. Despite these events, courts ultimately dismissed the case, and Diddy walked away without charges or legal repercussions, his team's loyalty and influence shielding him from direct consequences. Though legally cleared, the incident reinforced the sense that Diddy was willing to go to extreme lengths to control his image and protect himself. Behind the scenes at Bad Boy Records, Diddy's reputation for control extended beyond his public persona and into his dealings with the artists signed to his label. Diddy ran Bad Boy with a business-first approach, often criticized for treating his artists as assets rather than collaborators. While Diddy's mentorship had proven essential to artists like Biggie, his tight grip over Bad Boy's roster came with mounting grievances. Diddy was known for his heavy involvement in the creative direction and management of his artists. But as his empire grew, so did complaints of overreach, strict contracts, and excessive control. This discontent reached a peak in 2006 when Mase, one of Bad Boy's most successful artists, sought to leave the label and join G-Unit, the hip-hop group headed by 50 Cent. Mase's request to exit Bad Boy met with resistance. Diddy's refusal to let Mase out of his contract sparked a backlash that would shake the label's foundation. Bad Boy's reputation took a hit, with Mase airing grievances about Diddy's handling of the label, alleging that Diddy's priority was financial control rather than fostering genuine artistic growth. The tension escalated when 50 Cent released a diss track aimed at Diddy, criticizing his practices at Bad Boy and defending Mase's right to artistic freedom. The track gained traction, stirring up public debate and highlighting the power dynamics within Bad Boy Records. Fans and critics alike began questioning whether Diddy's leadership style had ultimately hindered rather than helped the careers of the label's artists. From the very beginning of his career, Diddy demonstrated an astute understanding of the entertainment industry and the importance of diversifying his income streams. Recognizing that music alone might not sustain him long-term, he ventured into various business endeavors, one of the most notable being his fashion line, Sean John. Launched in 1998, the brand quickly gained traction in the fashion world, appealing to a broad audience with its stylish, urban aesthetic. Diddy's vision for Sean John was clear. He wanted to create clothing that combined luxury with street sensibility, and the brand achieved considerable success, earning accolades, including the prestigious CFDA, Council of Fashion Designers of America, award for Menswear Designer of the Year in 2004. This recognition solidified Diddy's status not only as a music mogul, but also as a significant player in the fashion industry. However, the success of Sean John would soon be overshadowed by serious allegations regarding its manufacturing practices. In the early 2010s, reports surfaced detailing appalling working conditions in Diddy's factories in Honduras. Workers came forward, revealing that they were subjected to underpayment, long hours, and intolerable working environments. Claims included restricted access to bathrooms, meaning employees sometimes had to wait hours before being allowed to relieve themselves. Additionally, random body searches were reportedly commonplace, leading to a sense of violation among the labor force. The news sparked outrage among consumers and advocates for workers' rights, putting Diddy and his brand in a difficult position. In response to the public outcry, Diddy claimed ignorance of the situation, asserting that he had not been aware of the conditions under which his clothing was produced. However, this defense did little to quell the backlash. Diddy acted swiftly to distance himself from the allegations, promising immediate changes to the oversight of his factories. He launched an investigation into the working conditions and committed to implementing reforms to ensure fair treatment of workers. Nonetheless, the damage had been done, and Sean John's reputation suffered significantly as consumers began to question the ethics of the brand they had once embraced. But the controversy didn't stop there. Further scrutiny revealed another distressing aspect of Sean John's product line. Some of the fur used in jackets from the collection was alleged to have come from raccoon dogs, a fact that incited horror among animal rights activists and conscientious consumers alike. Raccoon dogs, which are often kept in inhumane conditions for their fur, became the focus of a public relations nightmare for Diddy. Once again, he claimed ignorance, asserting that he had no idea about the source of the fur used in his designs. Following this revelation, he took immediate action by pulling the controversial jackets from stores and issuing apologies. Still, the consecutive scandals left a bitter taste in the mouths of many consumers who had supported the brand. Despite these setbacks, Diddy displayed resilience and a determination to persevere through the controversies. While Sean John faced challenges, the brand still managed to achieve financial success, underscoring Diddy's business acumen and marketing prowess. He continued to innovate within the fashion space, exploring new collections and collaborations that kept the brand relevant. Sean John maintained a foothold in the streetwear scene, demonstrating that even in the face of adversity, Diddy could pivot and adapt to changing circumstances. In 2007, Diddy made headlines once again when he signed a promising young R&B artist, Cassie Ventura, to Bad Boy Records. At that time, Diddy had recently ended his tumultuous relationship with Kim Porter for the second time, setting the stage for a new chapter in his personal life. Cassie, known for her sultry voice and model-like looks, quickly became a focal point in Diddy's life, although their romantic journey was anything but straightforward. Rumors of a romantic connection between Diddy and Cassie circulated almost immediately, but they remained unconfirmed for several years. It wasn't until 2012 that their relationship became public, and while it initially seemed like a promising pairing, it soon devolved into a complicated saga marked by on-again, off-again phases. Officially, their relationship spanned nearly a decade, but many would argue that dating was a loose term for their dynamic. The couple would break up and reunite multiple times, creating a whirlwind of media speculation and public interest. Throughout their relationship, reports of infidelity surfaced on both sides. Diddy had a notorious reputation for being unfaithful, and it was widely believed that he couldn't fully commit to Cassie. However, rumors also suggested that Cassie may have strayed during their time together. The uncertainty and lack of trust were palpable, with sources close to the couple revealing that the relationship was fraught with jealousy and suspicion. The fact that they seemed to thrive on drama made their romance even more intriguing to the public. A particularly troubling incident in 2016 highlighted the volatility of their relationship. During a heated argument, Diddy demanded to see Cassie's phone, which she refused to allow him to do. In a fit of anger, he forcibly took her phone from her, escalating the confrontation to the point where Cassie's mother intervened by calling the authorities. Though the police arrived and assessed the situation, no serious charges were filed against Diddy, and both parties managed to move past the incident. However, such occurrences painted a picture of a relationship plagued by trust issues and emotional turmoil. Despite the tumultuous nature of their romance, Diddy and Cassie remained together for a significant period. However, by 2018, the relationship reached a breaking point. According to Cassie, she ultimately made the decision to end things because Diddy was unwilling to take their relationship to the next level, specifically regarding marriage. After nearly 10 years of ups and downs, Cassie grew tired of the uncertainty and lack of commitment. She yearned for a future that involved a marriage, but Diddy, seemingly content with the status quo, did not propose. The breakup marked a significant moment in both their lives. Interestingly, just a year after their separation, Cassie moved on and married Alex Fine, a personal trainer who had worked for Diddy. The juxtaposition of her quick transition to marriage right after her tumultuous relationship with Diddy made headlines, illustrating the stark contrast between the two men's approaches to commitment. The fact that Fine was associated with Diddy added another layer of complexity to the narrative, making it appear almost as if Cassie had chosen to escape the chaos of her past in favor of a more stable and loving relationship. In 2017, Diddy found himself in the midst of a scandal that would raise eyebrows and deepen the scrutiny surrounding his already controversial reputation. The allegations came from Cindy Rueda, his personal chef for several years, who filed a lawsuit against him citing severe misconduct and harassment. While Diddy had a history of tumultuous relationships and questionable behavior, the nature of Rueda's allegations shocked many and painted a troubling picture of his behavior behind closed doors. Rueda's lawsuit detailed a work environment fraught with inappropriate conduct, revealing that Diddy often made suggestive and rude comments toward her. She described a series of incidents where he would make lewd remarks, creating an uncomfortable atmosphere that was difficult to navigate. What made these allegations particularly alarming was not just the verbal harassment, but also the conditions under which Rueda was expected to perform her duties. According to her claims, Diddy would frequently insist that she serve him and his guests during intimate gatherings, sometimes when they were engaged in sexual acts or, disturbingly, while completely naked. This level of inappropriate behavior indicated a blatant disregard for professional boundaries and respect for personal space. The lawsuit outlined specific instances of Rueda's distress, detailing how she felt increasingly trapped in a toxic work environment. She alleged that Diddy created a hostile atmosphere where her role as a chef was constantly overshadowed by his inappropriate demands and comments. The revelation that a high-profile figure like Diddy, known for his flashy persona and entrepreneurial prowess, could foster such a demeaning environment was a stark reminder of the darker undercurrents that often exist in the entertainment industry. As the details of Rueda's claims emerged, they sparked discussions about workplace harassment, particularly in high-stress environments like those often found in celebrity circles. Many began to reflect on the power dynamics at play, considering how individuals in positions of authority, like Diddy, can exploit their status to engage in inappropriate behavior without fear of repercussions. The lawsuit against Diddy added to a growing narrative of accountability within the industry, where previously unchecked behavior was now being challenged by those brave enough to speak out. In the court of public opinion, the allegations also fed into the ongoing dialogue about Diddy's character and moral compass. Critics pointed to this incident as further evidence of his tendency to act recklessly in both his personal and professional life. The fallout from Rueda's allegations had the potential to damage Diddy's carefully cultivated image as a music mogul and entrepreneur, as fans and industry insiders alike began to question the integrity of a man whose talents were often overshadowed by his personal scandals. Moreover, the lawsuit brought renewed attention to the broader issues of sexual harassment and the treatment of women in the workplace. Rueda's courageous decision to come forward and share her experiences highlighted the need for stronger protections and policies to ensure that no one else would have to endure similar treatment in their work environment. The timing of the allegations was particularly poignant, occurring during a period when the Me Too movement was gaining traction, urging survivors of harassment to speak out and hold their abusers accountable. While Diddy's legal team denied the allegations, asserting that they were baseless and exaggerated, the damage to his reputation was palpable. The story served as a reminder that fame and success do not shield one from scrutiny or accountability, and it underscored the importance of addressing misconduct in all forms, particularly when it involves those who wield considerable power. In the aftermath of Rueda's lawsuit, the entertainment industry braced itself for the potential ramifications. The case became a focal point for discussions about the necessary changes within workplace cultures, emphasizing the need for safe, respectful environments regardless of one's position. Diddy's story, intertwined with Rueda's allegations, not only highlighted the challenges faced by those in subordinate roles, but also served as a stark reminder that the fight for respect and dignity in the workplace is far from over. As the legal proceedings unfolded, it became increasingly clear that the music mogul would have to navigate not only the complexities of his career, but also the serious implications of his past behavior. Following the serious allegations made by Cindy Rueda against Sean Diddy, the lack of a substantial public response from Diddy or his legal team was notable. While Diddy maintained a high profile in the media and continued his ventures across various industries, he opted for silence on the specifics of the lawsuit. Instead of addressing the accusations directly, Diddy chose to settle the case out of court, a common strategy for high-profile individuals facing serious allegations. This decision likely involved a significant financial payout, which would keep the case from escalating into a prolonged legal battle that could further tarnish his public image. Despite the troubling nature of the allegations, Diddy managed to continue his career without significant interruption. He remained active in music, fashion, and his other entrepreneurial pursuits. This resilience raised eyebrows and prompted discussions about accountability in the entertainment industry. The notion that a high-profile figure like Diddy could seemingly sidestep serious allegations by opting for financial settlement sparked debates about justice and the power dynamics at play in celebrity culture. Critics argued that such actions often allow powerful individuals to escape the repercussions of their actions, further entrenching a culture of impunity. Diddy's ability to rebound and maintain his status in the public eye mirrored a certain aspect of his bad boy persona. His numerous romantic entanglements and high-profile relationships with various celebrities, including Lori Harvey and Gina Huyn, reinforced the narrative that his charisma and fame could overshadow his misdeeds. In a world where public figures often face consequences for their actions, Diddy appeared to continue his life relatively unscathed, leading some to question the effectiveness of societal accountability. However, the complexity of Diddy's personal life added layers to his public persona. His relationships, often fraught with drama and speculation, attracted media attention and public intrigue. Despite having children with multiple women and a history of infidelity, he did not shy away from the dating scene. Instead, he embraced it, frequently linked with younger women who were also making their marks in the entertainment industry. This ongoing pattern only seemed to fuel the bad boy image that Diddy had cultivated over the years. One of the most noteworthy aspects of Diddy's recent dating life has been his involvement with another young female performer, which further added to the narrative of his romantic escapades. His relationships often unfolded under the watchful eye of the media, with each new romance generating headlines and speculation about the nature of his connections. This perpetual cycle of dating, breaking up, and making headlines kept Diddy relevant in the public consciousness, even as discussions about his past misdeeds continued to linger. In 2022, Diddy confirmed his relationship with rapper Koresha Brownlee, known professionally as Young Miami. The nature of their connection was described by Diddy as casual and non-exclusive, a statement that seemed consistent with his reputation for keeping his romantic life open-ended and fluid. This admission was particularly intriguing given the context of his personal life, which had been marked by a series of high-profile relationships, breakups, and the complexities of co-parenting multiple children with different mothers. Around the same time, Diddy welcomed his seventh biological child, a daughter named Love, at the end of 2022, adding another layer of complexity to his already intricate family dynamics. Love's arrival underscored Diddy's ongoing pursuit of love and connection, despite the controversies and challenges that had punctuated his journey. The circumstances surrounding her birth, coming on the heels of his confirmation of a new relationship, were emblematic of the multifaceted life Diddy had built. While some might view his pattern of relationships and fatherhood as chaotic, others saw it as a testament to his unabashed approach to life and love. Despite the seemingly tumultuous nature of his personal life, Diddy continued to enjoy significant success across various ventures. His ability to navigate the music industry and maintain a loyal fan base is noteworthy. This resilience can be attributed to his knack for reinvention and his understanding of the ever-evolving entertainment landscape. He skillfully blended music, fashion, and branding, allowing him to remain relevant even as new artists emerged on the scene. In 2021, Diddy made headlines for officially changing his middle name to Love. This symbolic gesture reflected his desire to embrace a more positive image, one that aligned with the themes of compassion and connection. It also resonated with his ongoing musical journey. He channeled this new identity into his album, the Love Album, Off the Grid. This project marked a significant return to the music scene and served as an expression of his personal evolution. In 2021, Diddy found himself embroiled in a legal battle with the new owners of his fashion label, Sean John. Diddy filed a staggering $60 million lawsuit against the company, claiming they had utilized his likeness without his consent and had fabricated quotes that falsely endorsed their new product line. This lawsuit highlighted the ongoing tension surrounding the brand he had built from the ground up, one that had initially earned him accolades and a prominent place in the fashion industry. Diddy's accusations underscored the importance of intellectual property rights, especially for high-profile figures whose images and endorsements hold significant value. The lawsuit illustrated his determination to protect not only his financial interests, but also his personal brand. Given that Sean John was a pioneering streetwear label that influenced fashion trends in the late 90s and early 2000s, the unauthorized use of his likeness was seen as an affront to his legacy. His commitment to maintaining control over the brand he created showed how much he valued his identity as both an entrepreneur and a cultural icon. Fast forward to 2023, Diddy shifted his focus from fashion to the spirits industry, filing a racial discrimination lawsuit against Diageo, the multinational beverage company known for its extensive portfolio of alcoholic beverages, including his own brands, Ciroc Vodka and De Leon Tequila. In his lawsuit, Diddy alleged that Diageo had systematically undermined the marketing and sales efforts of his products, suggesting that the company's actions were racially motivated. He described the tactics used by Diageo as deliberate attempts to kneecap his brands, stifling their growth and visibility in a highly competitive market. This lawsuit revealed deeper issues of representation and equity in the spirits industry, particularly for Black entrepreneurs. Diddy argued that Diageo's lack of support and promotion for his brands was a reflection of broader systemic racism within corporate structures, emphasizing that his contributions and innovations deserved recognition and support. The accusations drew attention not only to his personal struggle, but also to the challenges faced by many Black business owners in predominantly white-dominated industries. However, in January 2024, Diddy made a surprising move by voluntarily withdrawing the lawsuit with prejudice, indicating that he would not pursue the case further. Along with this withdrawal, he also severed his business relationship with Diageo entirely. This decision marked a significant turning point for Diddy, suggesting that he might be looking to forge a new path for his brands without the constraints imposed by the partnership. By stepping away, he signaled a desire for independence, seeking greater control over his business endeavors moving forward. On March 4, 2024, a serious escalation in legal troubles for Diddy emerged when music producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones, who had previously initiated a lawsuit against Diddy for sexual assault, broadened his allegations to include a shocking claim against both Diddy and his son, Justin. Jones accused the duo of orchestrating a massive cover-up related to their involvement in the shooting of a 30-year-old man. This incident reportedly took place during a writers and producers camp at Diddy's Chalice recording studio in Los Angeles in September 2022. The nature of Jones's allegations suggested that the shooting was not just a random act of violence, but rather involved individuals closely associated with Diddy, raising serious questions about the extent of their involvement. In the lawsuit, Jones claimed that both Diddy and Justin were actively engaged in concealing details about the incident, potentially jeopardizing the safety of others and obstructing justice. This revelation marked a troubling chapter in Diddy's already complex legal saga, drawing attention not only to his personal life, but also to the environment surrounding his music production empire. As the allegations made headlines, the implications of Jones's lawsuit rippled through the entertainment industry. If the claims were substantiated, they could lead to significant legal repercussions for Diddy and his son, undermining the public's perception of Diddy as a successful and influential figure in the music business. Given Diddy's history of controversies, this situation reignited discussions about accountability within the industry, particularly regarding how powerful figures navigate allegations of misconduct. Adding to the turmoil surrounding Diddy, just weeks later, on March 25, 2024, former Syracuse University basketball player and known associate of Diddy, Brendan Paul, was arrested at Opa-locka Airport in Miami-Dade County, Florida. Paul faced 2 charges related to the possession of cocaine and other controlled substances. He was released the following day after posting a $2,500 bond, but the incident raised eyebrows about the circle of individuals surrounding Diddy and the potential for drug-related activities. In court documents related to his ongoing lawsuit against Diddy, Lil Rod accused Paul of being Diddy's drug mule, suggesting a deeper and darker connection between the music mogul and illegal activities. This allegation painted a grim picture of the dynamics within Diddy's inner circle, indicating that not only were there serious criminal accusations against him, but also that these alleged actions could involve his associates in drug trafficking. In a dramatic turn of events, Diddy found himself in a legal nightmare when he was arrested and indicted in September 2024 in the Southern District of New York. The gravity of the charges against him was nothing short of staggering: racketeering, sex trafficking by force, and transportation for purposes of prostitution. These serious allegations suggested a significant escalation in the legal challenges he had faced in previous years, casting a long shadow over his illustrious career as a music mogul and entrepreneur. Diddy was taken into federal custody and is currently awaiting trial at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. His cellmate, Sam Bankman-Fried, who was sentenced to 25 years for his role in a massive financial fraud scheme, only adds to the notoriety of Diddy's current circumstances. Sharing a cell with such a high-profile inmate highlights the unusual nature of Diddy's situation, as both men find themselves grappling with the consequences of their respective actions in the public eye. During a court appearance on October 10, 2024, Judge Arun Subramanian set the trial start date for Diddy as May 5, 2025. This timeline not only extends the period of uncertainty for Diddy, but also underscores the serious nature of the charges against him. A trial of this magnitude is expected to attract considerable media attention, drawing in both fans and critics who have followed Diddy's controversial journey over the years. What do you think about Diddy's success and downfall? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.